Well, I've already had an opportunity to touch on this a little bit. I think that we need to look at anything that helps to build community and look at that as crime prevention. And so the city can support our community clubs. It can support our recreation, our youth, summer youth rec. It can support our community policing efforts and really anything else that kind of would support or go along with that. When I worked with kids who were in trouble, one of the programs I started here in Duluth was a program that helped kids who were leaving the Arrowhead Juvenile Center, and they were trying to integrate them back into the community kind of successfully so that they would have a positive connection. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to start a special mentor program for them so that they could have mentors that not only would help them develop some recreational activities, which was something that they were seriously lacking, but also develop ways that they would start volunteering in the community and interacting in a positive way with their community, because they definitely felt like they were not included and there was no way that there was a positive relationship. People didn't respect them, they didn't respect anybody else. I had trouble finding the funding for this, and I went to the Northeast Regional Corrections Prisoner Advisory Board, pitched it to the prisoners that were in NERC. They thought it was a great idea and they funded it. And so sometimes we just need to get creative and we need to look a little differently. When we really want something to happen, we just have to keep our eyes on it and keep working for it.
I've been a citizen here for 56 years, and I remember back in the late 70s and early 80s when unemployment reached double digit being 21, 22, 23% in our city. And those jobs never came back. Those people moved out of our city. And today we see when unemployment goes up, crime goes up. And there's a direct relationship all across our country. When unemployment increases, so does crime. It makes sense. So my main focus has always been finding ways to develop business here, current business, growing business, retaining business, or bringing in new business. Along with business comes jobs. As president of the Duluth Economic Development Authority for 4 years running, elected by my colleagues on the council, that was my focus, to retain our current businesses or grow our current businesses or to bring in new business. And I think that's probably the best thing we can do. Reduce the unemployment rate and you'll see crime follow.
I would agree that making it easier for businesses to come to the city of Duluth and make it easier for businesses to grow and creating more jobs is going to be great, and it will help with the crime issue. But there are other things we can do as well. I think supporting things like the Crime Safety Initiative is a great step in that direction. I've been to several of these where, one is that they talked about changing the locks on your door. That's actually a way to actually help prevent crime. Another one, too, is supporting things like the Citizens Patrol. It's like supporting the block watches. It's like one of the major things is actually taking down the amount of blight in neighborhoods. That's a way to actually help crime in the city as well. So, the cleaner your streets are, the safer you feel in that neighborhood. And that actually is a different, you don't really naturally think of that, but it's actually a part of crime prevention as well. So that's something that we as a city need to be more aware of all over.
Okay, number one, our police force. I want a strong police force. So I think that's the number one crime prevention in our community is a good, strong police force. And thank God, again, for our neighborhood watch groups. I would be one who would be very supportive of their efforts. And as Beth had mentioned, there are plenty of resources out there that we could utilize that would help support you. But more importantly, what Councilor Stauber says is, nobody up here, we're all talking, and we've been at so many forums and talked about how we need to do this, we need to have that, a strong police force, our libraries open, our community centers. I so agree with that. I heard that 2 years ago when I ran for city council. I would like somebody on the city council that would embrace our business community and foster some growth there. Like Councilor Stauber said, if we could grow our business base, we're creating jobs and opportunities for our families. And as you mentioned, crime can go down as a result when unemployment goes down. But also, our tax base is increasing. Our revenues come in. We get to open up our libraries. We get to open up our communities more for our kids. I really think that we need somebody on the city council, and right now it's tilted to having all these services, and the only option is to raise your taxes. And as I'm out door knocking, people are saying, you know what, that's enough. Can we figure out another way to provide these services? And I say it's by growing our jobs base.